Okay, so thank you everybody for joining. Shall we move ahead, because I know we have some of the people on the call who it is very early in the morning for them. So we want to make sure we're very conscientious of your time. Thank you. Okay, so as you can see here, we are doing the MBA Student Experience for the Concordia 101 week. So during this, we're just going to do a brief overview of the MBA program, just to remind you of how the program works. And then we're really going to get into what you're here for, which is talking to Santiago, where he can tell you about his experience as an international student at Concordia University, Wisconsin, and also as an MBA student. So he is currently an MBA student at Concordia. So my name is Kelsey Marquardt. I am the International Admissions and Retention Coordinator. And that means I help with the admissions process and also make admissions decisions. So being able to say, we need this last document, or here I'm help convert GPAs into the US system. So that is my job. I also help organize events. So throughout the year, when you're here, you're having a good time, and Santiago definitely helps with that too. So Santiago, would you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So my name is David Santiago. Everybody call me Santiago or Santi. You can choose. I am currently studying at Concordia University. I'm an MBA student, and I am studying 2 concentrations. The first one is Sport and Entertainment Business, and the other is Information System. So I'm doing both at the same time, and I also work part-time at the Concordia International Center, where is the really fun part of being here in Wisconsin at Concordia University. So you better, guys, apply now. It's the time.
They're already accepted. They're already accepted.
Oh, you guys already accepted? Good. Okay, I didn't know that. Nice. Well, Wisconsin is amazing. I have a lot of things to tell you guys. You're gonna be like super convinced to come, because here is a really good opportunity. I love it. So we'll talk about that later.
As you can see, we love having him at the International Center. So yeah, it was fantastic. Okay, so just to give you a brief overview of here is how the MBA program works. So first, there are the core classes that you're going to be taking that all MBA students are going to take. And then you go into your concentration classes, and a business advisor will be able to help you pick which concentration is good for you. You're able to pick more than one. As you can see, Santiago's doing that. It's a little more work, but definitely can pay off if that's what you're interested in. Then we'll do 2 experiential learning courses to really make sure you're getting contact with putting the skills you're learning in the classroom and being able to get out and use those skills. So there are a couple ways you can do that. And then there's the capstone course that you take in your last term during the MBA program. So the MBA curriculum here are those 5 core classes that everyone takes. It's really going to make sure that you are equipped to be an excellent leader in your business industry. Then you're going to move on to picking your concentrations. Now, as you can see, this is a huge list of concentrations. Again, your advisor can help you pick the right one for you, especially doing a really good consultation of what industry you really want to go into. As you can see, there are 2 new concentrations that we're launching in time for you guys to start: informatics and leadership. And informatics in particular is applying for STEM approval. So for the STEM OPT extension, that one will hopefully be able to qualify very soon. Then those experiential learning courses. So you need to take one of these 3 courses, and that can be study abroad. So right now, studying abroad is a little tricky. But hopefully by the time that you're ready to take that course, things will have lifted a lot. And while we're talking about the trickiness of travel, let's sit in that for a second. So I know we have a lot of students who are not in the United States and thus don't have a visa. And if you don't have a visa yet, there's a lot of tension and stress about if you're going to be able to get a visa in time for your planned start date. So the International Center is trying to be as flexible and helping you prepare as we possibly can. That means that we are still sending out I-20s when we have everything we need. And if you have questions about what documents we need, we can come back to that again at the end in order to get your I-20. But we are still sending them out because as things lift, we want to make sure that once those visa interview slots open, you have everything that you need. So we're still sending I-20s out. If you are in a country like India, that their mail system has been completely shut down and they are not accepting any mail, their mail isn't running right now, we are not sending out I-20s to those specific countries just because we don't want to send out that very important piece of paper and it to be lost in the mail forever. So we are going to wait until the mail opens up again in order to send out those I-20s. Okay. But then let's talk about what happens if your visa interview time, you can't get one before your planned start date. Well, we feel for you and we are very sorry. This pandemic has hit everyone and has affected everything, especially international travel. So if that means you need to defer and start later than planned, we understand, and we are going to defer your I-20 free of charge. So we will send you a new one at a time when you think you will be able to get an interview time and be able to study in the United States. So we will work with you. Each student is different. We know that, and we're again being as flexible and as compassionate as we possibly can. If though you are thinking, I have a timeline and I want to stick to it and I want to make sure I start in fall, we understand that too. And so we have our classes are going to be available online as well. So if you want to start your classes online and then come to campus later, you can do that too. Again, each student's situation is different. We will work with you and we understand that this is a crazy, crazy time. It's going to make us all feel so more appreciative. We're going to appreciate when we're going to be able to like give each other high fives again. I can't wait just for the little things. So that's my COVID-19 spiel. If you still have questions about it at the end, feel free to ask. We'll get to that. Okay, so those experiential learning courses. So one option, study abroad. We have lots of different places that you could go. And then we have the Santiago's fire alarm went off, perhaps? Yes.
Hang on, something is happening here in my building.
Oh, okay.
What is that sound, you know?
Maybe a fire alarm. Send Edward to go see.
Okay, just give
mute yourself. We'll come back.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay. This is what happens when we do things live. That's what happens. It's exciting. So you can also do the Industry Leaders Seminar, and I actually highly encourage you to take this course. I know it's fun. It's the joy of being live. But the Industry Leaders Seminar is a really exciting course where the course is completely devoted to having guest speakers and you getting able to shake those people's hands who are industry leaders in their various areas. And the MBA program does a really good job of getting a wide variety of people to come in and talk about their knowledge. And it's a great time to go up, talk to them in person, say, what does it take to get to be the CEO of a company? What did you do? Where did you start? And also build those contacts up. And you're being able to do that in class weekly. That's amazing. The MBA program director, Brian Curry, talks about a time when there was a student who went up to one of the speakers at the end and said, how do I get into banking? I really want to get into banking. And the speaker, who was the manager of a very large section of banks, gave the student his personal card and said, here's my cell phone number, call me. So it's connections like that happen in this Industry Leaders Seminar. Then also there's an internship option. This can be very popular if you're looking at wanting to build up that work experience. And our career services will also help you set up that internship. But a lot of it is you doing the legwork. And that means finding an internship, finding out what program they're going to be very helpful for, what industry they're in. finding those contacts, sending that email, putting into practice, again, the skills that you're learning in class. Okay, and then we have the capstone course. It's called Strategic Management. Again, that course it's a whole course, so it's not one thesis that you're writing. Instead, you're working on a project throughout the whole course. Okay, and then there are multiple classes that we have that also are tied to a certification. And this certification is something that you just leave the course having. It's something that you can immediately put on your LinkedIn. So you can say, yep, I now have Fisc Finance. So that's something that you can put directly on your resume, on your LinkedIn. Definitely. All right. So that is the overview review of the MBA program. Now we're going to get into the stuff that you're really here for, which is talking to David Santiago. And Santiago, is the alarm still going off?
Well, it's on still,
Yeah.
but you can hear me, right?
I can still hear you, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what's happening. Fire truck is outside, but like it doesn't seem something urgent. I think they're just trying to figure out how to turn it off. So
Okay.
it's fine.
All right. Well, we'll just go with it. We'll roll with it. Thank you for being here during even that.
It's okay.
Okay. So,
well, like it's fine for you, right? You can hear what I'm saying.
I can still hear you, yeah. And the Pablo, yes, thank you. Oh, okay. Well, Santiago, can you tell us about your answers to these questions? I'm sure everybody's curious.
Sure. Okay. So why did I choose Concordia University? First, this is a really fun story because I applied for a college in Canada. So I was going to Canada to Prince Edward Island, and then I wasn't really sure. I was with my partner, and we would say, "Hey, you think we should go to Canada?" And they say, then we were like, "Okay, let's try to see more options." So I went to this university fair in Ecuador, and I met Amanda, which is the person in charge of the International Center, and she told me a lot of good things about Concordia, how you can apply. They were super easy. Like if you get if you speak English enough, if you get a good score, if you want to work, what you can do. So she was like really, really helpful with information. And I like the way that we talk. So we kind of make a connection. Like, okay, like this is weird. Like, let's do it. So I wasn't sure about going to Canada. And then I received an email from CIC telling me, hey, why you don't apply? And I say, yep, let's give it a try. So I gave it a try, and it was the best decision ever. I was worried because it was in Wisconsin, and I was like, I don't know anything about Wisconsin. I was like looking on the map, trying to figure out where it is, like how's people there. So then that's how everything started. So I just get super, super excited about everything. I got accepted. I got my acceptance letter. I got my I-20, and when I got accepted is when I realized, like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna go to Concordia. So after a while, I was still deciding about Canada or the States. So then say, okay, let's go for Concordia. It has a really good programs. The one that I was going to do in Canada, it was just a diploma. And at Concordia University gave me the chance to do an MBA, which is is better than just a diploma. It has like more value in the market. So I said, let's do an MBA, and it was a really good price. So I said, like, let's go straight there. So that's how we applied for Concordia University, and then that was pretty much it. How I met Concordia University.
Thank you. Yeah, Amanda is amazing. She is a force of nature. She is like a tornado going around the International Center, making sure everyone is taken care of and that we have more crafts and food, and she just never stays still.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was a moment where your alarm went off, but
no,
going. Yeah. Okay, what class has been your favorite?
My favorite class, Let me see where it is. Uh, I can tell you which one I didn't like, but my favorite class was management in information system. It was a really nice class because I don't have any background in information system, but I decided to choose information system because I can get the STEM, so I can stay a little bit longer here and get more experience, like more American experience. And that was a really nice class because I learned a lot of things, like basic things about programming, and the professor was really, really nice. So I think that was my favorite class. And also the assignments, they were kind of fun because first the class we had, even though like we started doing um, like face to face, and then we switched to online because of this Corona thing. So we had like meeting with groups. It was pretty fun. So that was my favorite class. Yep.
Who was your favorite professor?
What was that?
And who is your favorite professor?
Oh, my favorite professor was David. I don't remember his name. Yeah, David Mackenzie. Yeah, that was my professor of sport and entertainment management. Um, well, he knew a lot about the business. He gave us a lot of like contacts in order to do our internships. So he was like really helpful. Because the good part of being here and about people from Wisconsin is like if they see that you are interested, so they kind of like direct you in the good way, so you can say, okay, so this is how I have to do things. So he was really helpful in my opinion because he introduced me to new people, more people here that can get more connections about like maybe getting an internship or like in the future getting a job. So I think he was the best professor because he was really, really helpful.
Nice. Have you ever taken a class from Jim Tarasovich?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Have you taken a class from Jim Tarasovich?
No.
No? Okay, well that's okay. For other people on the call, he is going to be doing an example class, an example MBA class tomorrow.
Oh.
So it should be really fun. Yeah. Okay, so
What was the professor? What was the name?
Jim Tarasovich.
No. I haven't taken the class.
He works in like managing hospitals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it gonna be?
What?
It's gonna be tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yes.
Okay. Like you told me.
What has been your most memorable moment so far? It can be with a class or it can be something else.
Well, I think it was working at CIC. Well, the CIC, I mean, Concordia University has a lot of departments. So there's like, financial, and there's the library. I mean, there are a lot of places where you can go. They're really fun. But the best place in Concordia is the International Center because, like, if you are super stressed, like for parties, you can just go there and play some Xbox, and there are a lot of events. So it's kind of like you get out of where you're thinking, what you're doing. It's like a break, like a really nice break. You can do like crafting there. So I think my favorite experience was the International Week, when we had presentations of our country, and we give away food. So it was like all Concordia University was there. Everybody was hanging out, everybody was happy, everybody was eating a lot of food from everywhere, asking about your country, your culture. So I think all the events in CIC are fun, and I think the International Week, it was the most memorable day that I ever had at Concordia University. Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good. It's good to hear too, because it was a lot of work to make sure that it went well.
Yeah, it was really fun too.
It took a lot of people. So good, fabulous. And what are your plans post-graduation?
I think I still have around 2 years because I have another concentration to my studies. So this thing is still on. So it's kind of pissing me off. Anyway, so yeah, I think I still have like 2 years more. And after that I will graduate. Let me see if I can find the speaker, the table there.
Oh, brief intermission.
Hello, Kelsey.
Hi, Andres. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Finally, I meet you.
Yeah.
Remember me?
Yes. Hello.
How are you?
We're good. We're so glad to be able to have this kind of experience and have students like Santiago who are willing, even during times of craziness, to
I
hop
know.
on and help with this event.
Yeah, it's a hard time. Yes. Hi, David.
Hey, how are you, Andres? Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too, man.
Yeah, well, here as I was telling you guys, I was uh, something about my experience that I can say. I was worried about Wisconsin, like how's the weather. I was worried about how's people there, if they're nice, if they're rude, if they're mean, or if they're like super friendly.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oops.
So I didn't know anything about that. I have concern and questions, but when I get here, I realize people here are so nice. Like Concordia University, all the students, we as international students, we kind of highlight, so they just start to talking to you like, where are you from? What are you doing here? And like people here are really, really, really nice. And like here's a little bit also like a little bit cold, so you have to be ready for that. But like for people like me, I like cold. Like I don't mind. I rather cold than hot. So it's like if you are coming here like for your first time, is like seeing the snow and like in Christmas time like it's like the movies. So it's really really nice. It's a really nice state. It's a really nice city. So yeah, for people who are interested about.
Thank you. And then we have some gorgeous pictures of Santiago working as an international student worker. So there are other positions available for international students to work on campus in different places. So like you were saying, there's the library, work in the dining hall, other departments. But the International Center is one where we really work with getting international students. But you do have to apply and interview usually in order to get a position. So just keep that in mind as you go. But Santiago, do you remember each of these events? Can you talk about what we did here?
Okay, so I think the first event, I don't remember the first event, but CIC is always doing raffles, and then you can get a lot of like really nice presents. So we are friends. We always try to sneak on the presents, see which one is the best, which is not allowed. And Kelsey is here. She comes in that. Anyway, so like they have a lot of like events. So if you pass by and I don't know, you just answer some questions and then you can get into the raffle and then you get a present. So it's really nice to like get entertained a little bit. The second one, it was in Nigerian Day. That was huge. It was a really nice presentation about Nigeria. There was also people dancing in like Nigerian I don't know, tradition music. So it was really nice. And also there was like Nigerian food. So a lot of people came to have lunch with us. And we made like like it was presentation also was Nigerian games and crafts. So it was a really, really nice day. And we as like internationals and as student workers, we were wearing these really cool Nigerian t-shirts. So it was really nice day. And the other one was the Saudi Arabia Day. So that's how I was waiting that day. It was really nice. Same thing. It was music. It was games. It were traditions. We got Saudi tea, also Saudi food. What else we did that day? I was a Saudi that day, so I was super excited. And like a lot of people thought that I was Saudi because of the outfit.
That is probably how they got that idea. Yeah.
Well, say it again.
That's probably why they thought that you might have been Saudi. Yeah.
Yeah, all the outfit, yes.
Yeah. But great. And we had all of the students made a lot of homemade food. They brought a ton of food, so it was just gorgeous.
Wow.
And also one student worker, May, she's amazing at cooking. Like she's one of the best. She should be a chef. She's studying rehabilitation science though. But she's really good, really good. And she made I think she made most of the food right that day, right?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. There is food everywhere, guys. So just like think about that. Like you're gonna eat here a lot.
And then what about these two pictures? What's going on here?
Oh, okay. So the first picture, we were like promoting the food fair for the International Week. So we were just standing outside the cafeteria where all the students came to, have lunch and things like that. And then they came out, so they can get some information about the big event. So yeah, I remember that day we were like outside, like trying to promote the International Day. And then I went into the cafeteria and I asked the microphone and I say, "Hey guys, this Friday is gonna be International Food Fair, so you guys are invited." So I made it. Everybody was like, "What was he talking about?" Like everybody was excited about that day, so it was really cool. And the other picture, it was the day. It was the day when we made the food, and like people were there, like hanging out, eating a lot of food, and talking, laughing, dancing. So it was the big day. So we were like there helping. I was dressing my poncho as Ecuadorian from the Andes. So yeah, that was a really nice experience. Actually, that was my favorite day here in Wisconsin.
Hey, David, what food did you serve that day?
I served yapingachos, which is it's like a potato tortilla, and inside of it is a lot of like cheese. We serve it with pork. It's like fritada. It's like fried pork. So it was really nice. It was really good. It was a hard also. I didn't sleep that night. But it was totally worth it, guys. It was totally worth it. And I get the chance to try all the food around, so it was good.
I can see that from that picture.
Yeah.
Good food.
Oh yeah, we prepare. It's more people come to that event than I have seen ever on campus. There was like a line of people that was so long I couldn't see the end of waiting to go through. It was wonderful. Yeah, and then also we can't forget that there's fun going on, but then he's also learning a lot as an MBA student. So Santiago sent me these photos, and I'm curious to hear the stories behind these too.
Oh yeah. So the first picture, it was one of the events for the Concordia MBA presents. As MBA students, we have a lot of seminars that you can go, and that's amazing because you can also get the connections. Here in the States, connections are the most important thing to do. So when you are here, when you start like meeting new people, you have to think maybe this is a good way to like get these connections, and if it's in a university environment, it's much better because then you can get known from, what you do, or what your grades are, or how you talk. So the first one, it was a event of Marcus. That it was the Marcus. Well, is a really important person. The person is there. He's one of the most important persons here in Wisconsin. He owns like a lot of like business and like the movie theaters. He owns restaurants. He owns also, I think he has a bank or something, I guess. Don't remember it, but he was super important. He was invited to Concordia, so we had the chance to be with him, ask him questions. We could like apply for internships, so it was a really, really good experience to grow professionally. Also with the leader seminars, you can get the chance to meet a lot of important people here in Wisconsin and all over the United States. Face to face, you can see them, you can talk to them, you can ask them how they get success. So that's the cool part about Concordia. So this is more like about the professional experience. The second picture is one of my first class. When you get here, you have to get a class of it's a class like for introducing to the United States system and how they grade, how you have to present your papers. So it was kind of like an introduction class for the international students. So we just took that picture, and that was a good fun day. Also after that, the good part of Concordia University is, as I told you, we are international students, but most people are from the States. So the other classes, like I was feeling, it's finally no, it's done. Okay, now I can talk better. So like the other classes that we didn't have the opportunity to take pictures, but it's nice to be all around people from the States and like, kind of like sharing your ideas, and they're sharing their ideas. So you get the opportunity to have a really American experience. Like everybody's speaking in English, and it's not like a ESL class when everybody's like speaking so slow. It's like super fast. So to get used to that is also really challenging, but it's really fun. It's really fun, and that's the good part about Concordia, because you don't get just the student experience. You get a whole experience, a professional experience, and also an American experience, plus everything. So that's why I love also classes at Concordia University. My other picture was one of the seminars was about about events. So it was just for, well, not just for MBA students in sports, but was for everybody. But it was more focused in the students like events and sports. So we had the opportunity to go to one of the most expensive hotels here in Milwaukee. We went there, and we got the chance to get the tour and also to do the applications for internships. We got the opportunity to talk to the managers, about the art manager, the CEO of the hotel. We got also like a lot of like presents from them, they were like trying to encourage us to apply for work with them, and telling them that they need people and how they get success in the company. So that was one of the most craziest rooms ever, because they gave us a tour. So we took a picture with I think that's Melanie. Is one of my classmates.
I didn't even know it was hard to tell like what is going on. What kind of a room is that?
Yeah, is a hotel. Is one of the hotel rooms.
Oh, okay. So you guys got a tour of the room.
Yeah. So like it's not like room. I got the opportunity to get the because each room, because it's kind of expensive and it's an art gallery hotel, so all the rooms are different. So we could like get into the rooms and see how are they different, and there's a lot of art everywhere. So we took that picture in the in the I think it was a
They have the best
apartment
lighting,
something.
right? Bathrooms have the best lighting. Yeah. You gotta go where the lighting is. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about COVID-19 a little bit, but how has being an international student who's studying abroad, who's now experienced a pandemic, what has life been like for you? What has the change been?
Well, this is kind of hard for me to like. The change was a little bit difficult. I really like to be around people. I like to be like face to face. Like right now, I'm having a class which is finance and accounting. So I'd rather to be in class watching the blackboard and the professor doing the maths like just in front of me, not just on the computer. So the change was kind of crazy, but like I still have to do it. It hasn't been impossible, but like you also have, because you are at home, so they kind of send you more like homework. I don't know if it's more, if it's just the class, but it's been kind of hard for me because I have to like, try to organize myself, my schedule in order to do my homework, in order to do my exams, in order to do the group meetings. So it's been a little bit challenging for me, but this is the new future. We were saying this in my other class, which was information system management. This is the new future, so we have to get used to these things now more than before. But anyway, like hopefully everything is gonna change in a couple of weeks and months. So I'm really eager to be in my class. But like it's still fine. And also we as international students, we made like this quarantine challenge. So it was really fun because they made us to do things like, I don't know, like read a book which is not about the subject, like something that you really enjoy, or watch documentaries, not just Netflix, and then you start like doing some small things, and then you get points for that. So it's been really fun. Like you get points for cleaning up your room or your apartment. So we used to do that and like send pictures after and before. Also like how has everything been like changed since the quarantine, and like give it a tour on the phone. So this is one of the pictures that I made. So how everything has changed a little bit. So yeah, the quarantine challenge has been a really nice experience, and a really nice opportunity to do like not just homework and Netflix, but something else.
Yeah, the goal was to try to give you something to do so that you could then earn points, and then those points can be redeemed for gift cards to local areas. So it's a good way to do something and stay motivated to do something other than Netflix. But
And homework.
Netflix is fantastic. I'm not knocking Netflix, but also to do something else. Okay. So that has been fantastic. Thank you so much, Santiago. It is true that we're starting to open up a little bit. It kind of feels weird to not just be like very like focused on how we're going to stay inside for another week. But now we're trying to figure out how to do it safely and move back. So that's what our university is working on right now. We are planning on starting face-to-face classes as planned for fall. So we are still planning on doing that, but we're going to be planning right now on how to do it very safely. So they're going to be announcing like there's going to be some measures in place of when you have to wear masks on campus, and how close you have to stand to people when you're on campus. Events have to be this kind of a size and stuff like that. So the particulars are all getting worked out, but it's taking a lot of planning, and they're working on it. So this is the time to ask questions for either myself or Santiago. I see Pablo had a question in the chat, will it be a problem for me to be a few days late on campus or even a week as long as I get there before classes start? That is a great question. Definitely it's going to depend on how late you were going to be. And that's going to be an individual thing. Again, we're trying to be as flexible as possible, but for some things, like, you can't miss so many classes, otherwise you've missed too much. So feel free to again, I'll put it in the chat in case you can't see that. But feel free to email us and we will be able to work with you one-on-one for each individual person's kind of schedule of events of if you get that visa. And congratulations, Pablo, that a visa interview spot was available for you. That's amazing that the consulates are opening up again. That's wonderful. Okay, yeah, we'll sort it out individually. Yeah, definitely. And then also we have a WhatsApp phone number now for the CIC. So feel free, if you're like, I've got too many emails, I want to connect on WhatsApp, you can do that too. So that is our CIC WhatsApp phone number. Okay, any other questions for David Santiago or myself? Welcome. And then again, for people who weren't here before, we are doing another raffle. So a raffle means that you get a ticket and the ticket then goes into a big bucket of tickets and we pull one and you get a prize. And the prize will be given to you when you come to campus as just another reason why you're so excited to come. But just as a reminder, we have other events going on right now that are going to be happening. So after this one, I'm going to be jumping onto the academic advising one, which was sent in your email. The most recent email has the Zoom link for that. It's happening now, but you can jump on late with me if you want. And then tomorrow, Thursday, we are doing example classes taught by real teachers at Concordia. So tomorrow is going to be an undergraduate nursing class. If you're just like, wonder what's going on, how do they do that? Feel free, these are all optional. You don't have to do any of these. But we're going to do undergraduate nursing, and then Dr. Mike Littman, who heads up the computer science department, is going to be doing 2 classes. So he's going to do an undergraduate and a graduate computer science class tomorrow. And then the one I think that would be really great for you guys to hop on is the MBA example class. And Jim Tarasovich, like I said before, he manages healthcare budgets. So as you can imagine, he is very important, especially now, figuring out how everything is getting impacted and trying to make sure that the hospital is still being a good business. So he is a great person to hear from. He's also he's a very good personality, just to be engaging. He's a good personality there. And then Friday, if you're interested on what an MS Computer Science International Students Experience has been, if you don't care about the computer science, but you just want to hear from another international graduate student, Waleed is going to be leading that one. He's fantastic as well. And then 4 o'clock is for undergraduate students, it's our esports team, which means video gaming on a team for fun and with a coach. So if you want to hear what that's all about, we encourage you to join that one. And then on 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, we're going to be doing just completely fun, just get to know you. We're going to do a game as well, just so you guys can get to know each other and have another place to get to know your fellow Concordians. So it's going to be happening at the same time, but it's going to be 3 different groups. So make sure to check your email for which group to join. So there's going to be an undergraduate Concordia, Wisconsin. There's going to be a graduate Wisconsin, which is the one I'm leading. And then there's also going to be a Concordia Ann Arbor group. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a game. We're going to have a great time. And I do know that I saw a question here. Can you send me an email for the next meeting? Oh, sure. Yes, we can do that for you. We can send you a new email. I'm going to make sure to write it down though, because as soon as I get off this chat, it's going to disappear. But we can make sure that you get that email. I'll send it to you personally, Pablo, so that you have all of the Zoom links. But good job for finding this one. Good job. All right. And then also, just so everybody knows, we're recording this session. So if you want to hear the wonderful fire alarm with Santiago's beautiful talk, that will be on our social media shortly. But give me a few days because I've got
Sorry
a lot.
about that.
It's so good. I'm glad. Everybody's safe? Is the fire truck still there?
I have no idea. It was someone just randomly told me that. So I don't know. I don't think, it's not sounding anymore, so I think it's fine.
Okay. All right, good.
Do you guys have any other question about living here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Macon, transportation, expenses?
You live off campus as well. How hard was it to find housing off campus?
Well, I live off campus. I think it's cheaper than living on campus, so that's why I choose living off campus. Like here is not really everything. Like prices for renting are not really that expensive. What else?
Compared to other places in the United States. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Compared to other places in the United States,
Yeah.
this is a little more affordable.
Yeah, like here Wisconsin, here Milwaukee, like is really good prices. And also like to get to university, it was first of all because when I got here, I didn't know anybody and I just got here by myself. So I used to get the bus, which is not running anymore. But now you can get like one bus and then you can get one taxi to go to university when like everything is
and we give all of our international students passes for the taxi.
So
we have
so like you don't pay for anything. Mm-hmm. You don't pay to get to the university, which is like really convenient because you don't have to spend money paying the cab or paying the bus system because they give you everything or they get you everything. So that's really cool. After a while, I got a car. Cars are also like really cheap. I got mine for $800. Yeah,
wow.
I know. It was a friend of mine. He wanted to sell his car because he had another car, but the other car was like broken. So he fixed the first car and then he sent me the car he was using it. So it was pretty cheap. Well, I have to do some fixes, of course. So it was like around $1,500. So it was total $2,000. What I spent on the car, a little bit more, but it's really good, and like having a car is easier here.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big country. Yeah. So trying to get around anywhere, it takes a little longer than you might think.
Yeah, but like if you want to do the public transportation service, is also fine. It's not crowded at all. Sometimes you get the bus by yourself to yourself. So So it's also good. Like you can also do that if you don't want to get like a car right away.
Right.
Anytime. Any other question? Come on, guys. It's time.
It's also.
I remember when I was going to Wisconsin, I was like, I don't know anything about the place. I didn't have the opportunity to talk to someone like this. Actually, when I was going to Wisconsin, when I was back in Ecuador, I asked to Amanda for someone Latino who can like give me some information. So she gave me the number of Paola, which is from Venezuela. Now we're doing this. Like this is great. This is really helpful.
Yeah, we're thinking about, like you said, the things we're learning about now are probably going to be still happening when all of the quarantine is over, like working from home and having more online meetings instead. So we're seeing that other students really do like this Concordia 101 week so far. We're thinking about how we can make it better for next year. So part of the link as well of doing that survey is telling us what you liked, but you didn't like, what we could do better about this session for the whole week, it's up to you. So I encourage you to fill that out. It number one, gets you entered into the raffle, but also it gives us some great feedback. Okay, so I think we're gonna close it down. Santiago, he is so helpful, and you'll be able to see him on campus next year if you're able to come. Again, I will follow up with you, Pablo, no worries. And then specifically about like how many days late you're gonna be, that's an individual question. Feel free to email us. Okay, thank you all so much for coming, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. You are so welcome. We really enjoyed having you guys. Have a great day. Bye.